longer now.
It takes like 4 seconds.
Hey guys, welcome to the Aloy and Hour podcast. Please do not mind those technical difficulties in the beginning. Blame production because I'm going to fire him really soon. Say no. Boo. Oh my goodness, let me stop messing with this man before he go ahead and end my broadcast. So, oh my goodness, it feels so good to see you guys. I always feel like it's a party every time I see you guys' beautiful faces. So, Hannah, go ahead and take your time and introduce yourself because we have a co-host today, another co-host, a new face. Be fast.
No, it's not Bvaz. You put up
Oh,
the names. Let's
I'm
put the name
sorry,
blocks. Put
Mr.
the name blocks right
Audacity.
here.
Where the name blocks at?
With the name block. Let's get that thing going right
Let's
here.
get this correct.
Boom.
Mr. Audacity.
Audacity is back, so you know I'm coming with it. I'm bringing it all from the regions to up here, up in the throat, so y'all can hear me. And Vanessa.
And Vanessa. I guess Vanessa.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Vanessa, it's so good to see you. I love having you on because you're always a hoot. Oh my goodness. Always.
Thank you.
Miss Tolbert, go ahead and introduce yourself.
You already did. I'm Miss Tolbert. Hey y'all, how you doing? That's all I gotta say for right now.
Why she toned it down a little bit? Because
I am, because I'm tired. I didn't been working all day.
Okay.
I mean, everybody know who. I mean, anybody that's in Youngstown know who I am, and around the world. So, well, probably not around the world just yet, but at least.
Wait, no, you are known. You're known in Berlin because we have listeners in Berlin.
Okay, so I am known around the world. Ow.
That's interesting.
We have listeners in Russia. In some other place that I cannot pronounce, but honey, you are international. Okay,
I'll take that.
Okay, and the Lauren Hour podcast is international, baby. Okay, so guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. So today's show, we're actually going to be talking about parenting. So guys, let me tell you, I've been having the hardest time letting go of my children. So as you guys know, my youngest daughter turned 18 in December, and I don't think I was actually prepared for what comes along with my baby turning 18. So that's why I wanted to do today's show and talk about how to prepare parents for their children becoming of age, becoming adults, and how to transition from being that helicopter mom or helicopter dad into let them kids learn, let them kids go. So today's episode is about letting go, and let's get to the hard-hitting question. So today's hard-hitting question is, should parents seek exit counseling when their children are becoming of age and turning 18 years old? So I have a question for Vanessa. This question is going to be for you because your children are grown. So how did you as a parent prepare to let your child go?
I don't know if I was ever prepared for it. It just kind of felt like one day they were not little anymore. I don't know when that happened. I sort of blinked. I mean, my oldest is now 26. So it just, what happened?
She got quiet. She was.
So yeah, she's 26 now. My other daughter is 22. They're kind of been on their own for quite a while now, parents, so they have their little families. And
Mhm.
I mean, it's still, I still kind of, I guess, haven't let go fully. You don't really ever let go fully. You're there for them. You just have to kind of let them make their mistakes and just be there when you can be there.
Okay, so let me go even deeper and ask you this. So when they did turn 18 and they started making decisions that you did not agree with, was it harder for you to step back and not jump in and try to, as we say, guide them, but they say nag? Was it
Yeah.
harder for you to step back and not kind of coach them along and tell them what to do?
Um, yes and no. I mean, I let them do it because, they have to do it on their own with every little bit of anxiety that was in me not wanting them to do it. But
Mhm.
knowing that the more you say, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, they're going to run to that.
Mm.
So that's where you're like, no, oh, okay. Because really they're grown, and you can just at that point talk to them and kind of share your experiences and let them know what you went through. But you can't sit there and say, like, I can talk about when I was younger and the things that happened to me to them. It's not the same kind of world.
Mhm.
So their experiences, even though they're similar, are not the same.
I like that perspective, what you said. That I like that because we are from different times, and
Yeah.
we
And even then we'll sit there and we always say, oh, you think you're not doing nothing new. I did it when I was young. And
right.
we say that, but at the same time, it's different for them. They have all the social media and they have
Mhm.
everything for them is out on display.
Right.
Whereas for us, when we did our, dirt or whatever, it wasn't. Nobody knew.
It was behind closed doors.
So it's different,
Yep.
and they're all about being out there and doing their little things.
Yeah.
But, when they hit, 18 and they grew, you just kind of have to let them, so that because if you push, they're going to go away. And then when they do need you, they're not going to look for you.
Mm.
And
Oh.
that's what you don't want. You don't want to push them away so far that they're not there. And you could tell the differences because each kid, even though they grew up in your household, they're all going to have their own experiences because they're seeing it through their own eyes.
Mhm.
So
Right.
you know your kids and you know how to come to what kid in what way. You know that if you talk to one of your children in this manner, it's not going to work on the other one.
Mm.
So you have to come to them as the individual that they are.
Yes, because they all have different personalities, and you definitely can't handle them all the same. Um, I think being a mother of seven, I kind of learned that at the last minute. And the reason why I say at the last minute is because when I was learning it, my oldest, who is 22, I did not fully understand that with her. So I think I made a lot of mistakes with her. And I wish that I had the knowledge that I have now, because I may have handled things with my oldest daughter a little bit differently. And like you said, like
Mhm.
things for these children are a little bit different. Even though we said we've done the same thing as them, and they're living it completely different. And I never really looked at it that way. So I love your point, Vanessa. Jazz, what would you say to this? Hey, T.
Um, whew, I don't even know what to say to that because I mean, Ivy's just only about to be
One.
15 months, so it's like I haven't even attempted to think
Girl,
about
That
her
part in the
leaving
future.
yet.
you mean she about to be one? She said no, she is
15
one.
months.
She's
She
about to
is
be
She's
one.
one.
15 months.
She
1
is
year,
about to
3
be
months.
15 months. She's a month and almost a year, 3 months. God damn it. Anyway, seeing the fact that she's still so young, it's like I haven't even
Thoughts
attempted
ahead, that
to.
far ahead.
No, I'm not even thinking 10 years ahead yet.
Yeah.
So it's like
She's trying to get through tonight.
literally, like
Mm.
fucking literally. So y'all just y'all laughing, but okay.
I totally
Girl,
I
I've
remember
get
it.
been
it.
It
there.
is
I
not something I
know.
forgot. You
I
don't
I've
get
been
forget.
it.
there 7 times.
Because it's
I
just
know.
like, y'all seen how I was ready to knock her head off, so but we ain't gonna talk
You
about
gotta leave little
that.
sister alone now.
Little
Listen.
sister better take her ass to sleep, and then we
That-
want.
That's they all have their little things. It's never cookie
And they
cutter.
start the person, like I said, the personality, and it starts that little. She already has her
She
own
has her
little
thing.
personality.
Yes,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm.
It's so
You gotta-
beautiful though.
You
to
gotta do
watch
that
them
whole
at
little
that
thing where
age.
you go like this, and she's like this on you, and then she'll go to sleep for a little bit. You put her down. She goes, "What? Wait,
Right,
I wasn't
right.
asleep. Are
Like
you
she's
kidding me?"
missing something.
Oh,
And that's what
how-
it is. She
yes.
literally thinks she's about to miss something, and it's like, girl, you're not about to miss nothing. Like,
Yeah,
They're
because at
but
her age, everything is new.
Yes,
Literally.
everything is
New.
exciting. Everything
Yeah.
is
all
exciting.
like that.
And
Everything.
you know what? To Vanessa's point, you said everything to her is new. And
mhm,
that might be how some of these teenagers are
Yeah.
thinking. They're turning
Mhm,
18, right?
so it's like a new experience.
it is.
type
Even
thing.
though they've been here for 18 years,
Mhm.
now they're going to experience life from underneath their parents' thumbs.
Yep.
So
Right,
that is
right,
going to be
right.
so new and so exciting. And so they're going to be pulled into almost every different direction
Mhm.
now. So, oh my goodness. But let me tell you guys, I think someone should have told me that your children becoming grown was going to be the hardest part, because you always hear people say, I can't wait till my children turn 18. I can't wait till they get grown. No,
I've been
no.
saying that currently.
I'm telling you, I'd rather my children
Water.
be Ivy's age again. And the reason why is because I had a little bit more control over what they were doing, what they were
Yeah,
wearing.
true. Yeah.
And now it's just like my daughter, like she tried to leave out the house in these shorts, right?
No, ma'am.
She gonna kick my ass. And I looked at her and I said, not with me, you're not.
No, go ahead and go back upstairs and change. Go ahead.
And then she looks at me and she's like, I'm grown. I'm grown.
Oh.
And I'm just like,
Wrong.
I told her, I said, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. You can come, but don't get out the car. You're not wearing no shorts with me. If you're gonna wear something, I mean, they were way too inappropriate. And I was just like, listen, when you with your friends, wear what you want to wear. When you're not around me, wear what you want to wear. But if you're going to a function with me and you're going to be around people that I have to be around every day, I want you to dress appropriately because you're a reflection of me. And oh Lord, that child had a fit, honey. That child.
See, my grandma would have told me that I didn't change. She brought me in this world. She was gonna take my ass back out of it, and I would have had to change. But see, that's the difference in, I guess you can say, like times, like growing up with the kids now compared to back then. Because like I say, you already know if you was wearing something inappropriate and you tried to walk past your mama, she gonna make you go right back upstairs and change into something else. You know, it's like nowadays, it's like how you say with your daughter. You know, it's rebuttal for saying something about what you're wearing. You know, so it's like, but I mean, I get it. Like I get it. Like. I get it.
Yeah.
What if you're looking at your potential employer and you wearing some shorts that got your ass cheeks hanging out? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they could remember that, and then you try to go in and they're like, "Oh, I remember you as the girl such and such." You know, not judging her or nothing. So.
But this is how the girls at her job dressed too. Like they wear very short things. Like so, like now down here, employment means half dressed. There's no real dress code anymore. And the only thing you have to. Yes, the only thing you have to wear is the shirt.
Bits and pieces, and that's it.
No, she said Hooters. That's the dress code.
Pretty much. In every other restaurant, they're adapting the Hooters.
She works at Hooters?
No, she works at
Top. I was like, oh girl, that's why she wearing them short ass shorts. Okay.
That's the dress code at Hooters.
Not anymore.
I mean, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Not anymore.
I need to go to Hooters then to see this.
That's not anymore.
I'm gonna have to go to Hooters then. I need to do this for science.
Punch him in his mouth, Vanessa. Just punch him in his
Go ahead. Just stick a spin in that head real quick. Give him a buff. Give him a buff. So my next question would have to be, I'm sorry. So how can parents help guide their misguided children? So a lot of times I find that people have like good parents, two household parents, they have the one child or sometimes even two children who are of age and they just don't want to get on the right path. And that parent's constantly fighting with them to change their life, to do right. How do we as adults and parents try to guide our misguided children without making them feel like, or we don't understand, or we're trying to control them? Vanessa, I would love your view on that, and then Jazz, give me
Oh yeah, because I
your
got
view.
a
The freeze
story.
though. I
Oh,
gotta
be
say,
Baz. I'm sorry. You want to go, be
you
Baz? Go ahead.
no, you
She's
froze. You
not synced.
froze.
You froze, and how you froze. It's
And
like
the
I
way
wish I
you
would have got a
froze, me cracking the fucking you like.
I'm gonna have to watch that back. He said, was like,
He
Yeah,
was
you
for real. He really was. And that's I'm like, like, oh.
oh my goodness. Did you guys get that question
A
though?
guide, guide a misguided child. But I could talk from experience as I was a misguided child.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and I, we stopped talking for over a year or something, some change, due to that, my misguidedness and all the
Uh-huh.
bad decisions I was making. And then over time, it just kind of like afterwards, I guess age, it's really age experience is all you can use as a way of like
Hi,
getting them to come
Crystal.
back. She
Crystal
didn't.
said, "Hey."
Hello, my mom never pushed me away, but
Mm-hmm.
after we had a conversation, we tried to understand that I'm my own person. I'm gonna make this thing. I'm gonna make decisions you're not gonna like,
Right.
but it doesn't mean that I don't not like love you and everything. I still want to hear what you have to say, regardless. Let me make the decisions. I'll hear your advisement.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would take from that to move forward, take to my little ones when they walk through that situation. Hers are already grown, so what I try to do is like the ones that are not in that age yet, try to tell them, hey, this is what will happen if you follow this path. This is where you're
Mm-hmm.
going.
Right.
You stop it by, learning that, from a person who walked through this path, this is where it could lead you to. So what we want from you is the best, which is, and once you make sure you stay up on your education, stay up if you're
So
paying
important.
bills, if you're paying bills, stay on top of those. Don't get stuck into a debt and that you can't get yourself out of.
Mm-hmm.
And if you buy a really stupid financial choice and then we find out about it later, we were better off you come to us first because we've all done it. We made bad
Mm-hmm.
purchases, but we would rather you, hey, come to us before you do this because we may, yes, are. We we could we could stop the bad choices because what happens is when you make a
Well, we
bad,
can't stop it. We can try.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
I
can only try.
and I
Yeah.
could just say from an example is like she's mentioning a car. She's got a child that made a purchase, got stupid purchase, ridiculous
Interest rate.
finance
Interest rate.
charges,
Yeah.
went to like a mom and pop dealership. They got hit with all kinds of crazy fees and stuff, and it was like, man, if you would have just came to us, we could have taken you to some spots
Never would have.
and we wouldn't have had this problem. But going forward, she knows now,
As you live and you
She still
learn.
won't do it.
but she won't come to us. But she knows now, like what not to do. Like don't want to walk
It's
into
a
the
matter
situation.
of that question with knowing how to guide your kids when they're doing something you in your heart know they shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It falls under that same thing. You're pretty much going to look at the individual.
Right.
Whereas if you sit there with some kids and you tell them, look, this is why you shouldn't do that, you'll have that personality that may listen to you and might not do it or do it with caution. Whereas you'll
Mhm.
have another one go, oh, you said I can't do that. Now I'm going to do that. So you have to know what personality you're dealing with. And I kind of have, like my two girls, they have those two personalities where like my oldest, if I sit there and I go, no, 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 she's going to
Mhm.
push even harder to do it,
Mhm.
to prove me wrong. Whereas the other one, she'll do it to just have a little bit more caution because she wants me to be like, she see her as grown and she can take care of her responsibilities.
So
Because
she's gonna
and
put
that
it
one, I always tell her, I'm like, you don't have to follow right behind me. You don't have to do the exact same things that I did as at your age. I want you to follow, and I can guide her and say, because I did this at your age. We both had a child at a very young age. I was very young when I had my oldest, and I left home, and I thought I was doing the right thing because I didn't want to be that burden on my parents. I didn't want to put them or see my mom's face, because she wasn't mad at me when I got pregnant. But it was that look of disappointment that
it's like she
me.
wasn't mad, but she wasn't too particularly happy.
Yeah.
It was just almost like I crushed her heart. Like I broke it.
When I
had never done anything like that ever in my life. So that crushed me. And so I tried to, I got to do better because I did this. Now I got to do the right thing, and I got to be responsible because I did this.
Right.
That
accountability is important.
And I had to prove it almost pretty much to myself that I could do it because I did this. Now I got to do it. And she shouldn't have to deal with that burden of it.
Right.
So, and then my youngest daughter, she got pregnant at an early age, and she kind of did the same thing. And I specifically, because I know what I did, I was like, no, you don't have to leave home. You stay with me.
Right.
And I didn't want her to leave, and I didn't want her to go and do, the dumb thing that I did. I wanted to be there for her, right? Because I know her personality, and she does the same thing that I do. So, and I was there for her, but I could still see her going, no, I have to do this on my own. No, I have to do this on my own.
Right.
And she's still doing it. I mean, she put herself through school. She's working now. She has her apartment, so she's doing her things. But every time I still look at her because I'm like,
still makes you nervous. Hey, Christine. Yeah, girl, let me tell you, I get it. I still be getting nervous too. Y'all, I got some stories. I'm gonna let Jazz go. Jazz, go ahead. Give us your thought process on this.
Story time. So, when it comes to the misguided children, I was not the misguided child, but my sister was, and my mom tried, doing the stuff like sending her to JJC and doing all that to hope that it would get her out of the path that she was leading herself down. Well, funny story. She didn't learn her damn lesson. No, she didn't learn her lesson. And my mom just after a while just said, fuck it. And it's like, if you get in trouble or you get yourself caught up in something, it's on you. And that's exactly what she did. She had a child. She had one child at 16, then a child at 18. Then she went to prison and was going in and out of prison. And now I'm not even going to say what I really think of her, but she's in Youngstown, and that's just that. So, but it's like my mama tried, and it was just like after a while, like you get tired of racking your brain trying to help this one. And mind you, my mom had 5 kids, so it's like having to try to make sure one is okay, but then still have 4 others that have to be taken care of. Yeah, after a while, she was just like, fuck it. And that's exactly what it was. So,
yeah. I mean, it's not really that she was like, fuck it. It was more so of sometimes parents, they expend themselves,
No, my mom literally said fuck it. Literally. No, I'm not even joking. True story. Like,
yeah, but I'm there because there's some parents out there who they don't give up on their children. But there's sometimes you have children who will take you to a point of you maybe about to commit suicide, or they
got to the fact where it's like they were arguing, and it's like more like it wasn't arguing, like they were literally about to they was literally about to like fight, and then after that it's like anybody got time for that. So
sometimes you let them go so they can find their way.
She still didn't find her way. She's still stuck in a bag somewhere. But anyway,
so Christine said, dead serious, you do say fuck it sometimes. I mean, sometimes you do.
See.
Sometimes you do. I'm not going to say, because I wouldn't say fuck it. I'd be like, listen, I need a break.
See, I wouldn't either.
Yeah. I have my 22-year-old. I've been through some things with her. A lot of people know that. And I think my parenting with her was how I think I was raised. Like I handled her the way that I was handled. And looking back on it, the way that I was handled, it wasn't appropriate. It wasn't appropriate. And I was like the kid who always was in juvenile and group homes and stuff like that. And I couldn't, I think I didn't do enough to kind of explore more of her personality, because her personality was so different from my other children. And she did have, mental disorders, but I didn't know how to handle that. So what it looked like for me was, okay, I'm going to seek help. And I'm not saying seeking help was bad, but when I did seek help, it was always, okay, well, we're going to put her in this place for a little bit of time. And I think maybe I should have advocated for more of, let's not put her here. Let's try some other things first, because now that I'm older, because I was very young when I had my daughter. I was 13 years old when I had my daughter. Yes, I was 13.
I forget about that sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah,
and listen, when I got pregnant, my family sent me to a pregnancy home in Vienna. Okay, Vienna, Ohio. I got sent to a pregnancy home, and I had
I didn't even know they had them shits.
Yes,
Wow.
I forgot the name of it. Yeah, but actually it's in Niles, but
You were in
it's
seventh
Niles, but
grade?
Vienna, huh?
You were in 7th grade?
Yes, I was at Hillman. I was pregnant. I only made.
I was in St. Luke's. That's why I didn't know.
I was walking through the halls of Hillman, and my aunt was like, "Yeah, I'm not comfortable with you being here," and I shamed the family because I was pregnant so young, and they took me and they pretty much put me in a pregnancy home. And let me tell you,
but it's
now that I'm an adult and I don't really speak to this, that shattered me. It shattered me because I was always the pass around. And what I mean by the pass around, I was in foster care when I was young. It's like I was really little. I think I was like maybe 2. And I remember like being in this foster home and never feeling comfortable. I always was just like always scared of the kids that was there, because the kids there was weird. Okay. And I'll never forget the day that my aunt walked into the foster home and I seen her, because I knew who my aunt was. And I looked up at her, and all I remember is reaching my hands out to her, and she picked me up and she took me home with her. And I was living there with my aunt. And then she had to get my brother like a few years later, my baby brother. And everything changed when she got my baby brother. And that's when I started having like behavior issues. And I never knew, and I don't think that she knew, it was the fact that when he came, everything changed. Everything changed to the point of they ignored me. And I was going through things. Like I was going through things at a young age, because I was like in kindergarten. I remember being in kindergarten and my aunt and uncle taking me to school, and the kids would be like, "Where's your mom and dad?" And I'd be looking like, "Y'all know y'all mom and dad?" Like that's the type of thing it was, because it was strange for me. And so my aunt and uncle, I guess they did testing, and it was ADHD was the thing back in the day that they would have you tested for. So they tested me for that. I did not have ADHD, right? But I did have bipolar disorder. We didn't find out that I had bipolar disorder until years down the line. And my aunt and uncle, I guess they just had enough of me because I was a lot, but no one took me to the right places. And I felt like that's where I felt my daughter at. I should have took her more places and found better help and better care for her, my oldest daughter. And even though we have a great relationship, I just feel like I wish that I could have guided her a little bit better than I was guided, because I took the steps that was done for me, because I thought this was what I was supposed to do. And I was just a mom just guessing. Go ahead, Jazz.
So I got a question for you, girlfriend. So now, you said you were with your aunt and uncle, and it felt like it got too much for them. Like, was that, you felt like the exact reason, or did you ever like sit down and talk to them? Like, hey, like after the year, I don't know if it's like, that's a subject that you wanted to even touch again, or?
You know what? It has been something that was always hard for me to talk about, but I was like, the hell with it. I think for me, I never wanted to make people feel some type of way about me speaking about the situation. But I always felt like my aunt and uncle lost their son. He had passed away. So I felt like when they had me and I was there, it was all good. But then when they got my brother, it felt like that was because my brother favored their son. He did. And I felt like that was their replacement. That was their replacement.
That was what they
That
really
makes
wanted.
sense.
That was
That
what they
makes
really
sense.
wanted.
Okay.
And they couldn't just throw me back.
Right.
That would look bad, right?
Right.
Just throwing me back. and they would still try. Like, and they were good people, but I just don't think that I don't think that I was it for them. Like I
Right.
think there was no longer a connection. Like,
After, yeah.
yeah, because it was like, oh, now she's annoying because now
I
she
think
wants
it's
attention
so
again.
I
You
think it's so
know,
crazy that they said that you're a disgrace to your family because you were pregnant so young. It's like you got to think about it. Back like in the like older days, like I didn't heard my grandma telling me like how my grandpa's brothers, baby mamas were under 18. You know what I'm saying? Like
and
we got pregnant. I mean, they were okay. Yeah, their parents were upset about it, but it was more like, okay, the damage is done now. We just have to
mhm,
deal with what the outcome is going to be. And it's like, oh my God, like to tell you you're a
right,
disgrace. Oh, that's
right,
fucking
right.
horrible.
And let me tell you, the way that they got rid of my ass.
That's
You know what? I'm 30 something years old, right? And I still cry about this. And I still have nightmares about it. So, the way they got rid of me was literally my grandmother and my aunt came and picked me up. They was like, let's go to the house and let's get you some stuff. And I remember my aunt telling me, oh, you can't take those new shoes. You can take your old shoes. And I was looking like, oh, I must be about to go to camp. This is what I'm thinking. And then they put me in the car and we go to the north side on Broadway, and they take me to this home, and I'm walking the door with them like, oh, what is this, like a church functioning? Like, this is my dumb ass over there. Like, I'm like really guessing. I don't know what the hell a group home
but
was.
you can't call yourself dumb because you didn't know no better.
Yeah.
Like
And I walked through the doors, and these people greeted me, and my aunt and my grandmother basically told me like,
Bye.
bye. I'm
Wow.
all life. Like, that's what they said to me. And it wasn't no, I love you. It wasn't no. That first night in that home was the hardest for me.
You gonna cry, baby? Go on your makeup.
Stop. I'm sorry
What the
that
heck?
happened to you.
Oh,
I'm sorry I even asked. I'm sorry. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
I
okay. It
am
was
sorry that happened to you because you
Like
were
got me
young. Their
crying.
job
Like,
was to take care of
damn.
you, not to make you feel like that.
Yeah, that's horrible. That is horrible.
And 13 is not grown. 13,
Mm-mm.
you're a little kid.
oh no.
13,
Girl,
they're
that
supposed
wasn't
to
I
take care of the
wasn't
guy.
13 at that time. This was
no, she was
before
young.
my
This was
other aunt
before that.
Uh-huh.
She
I
was
was
younger.
like I
This was
was
when you were a baby.
I was like 11, girl. I was like 11.
You were a
And
baby.
the only way I made it through that process was because of a girl named Ashley Pierce. I'm shouting them out because I love these ladies so much. Tasha Buxton and a few other girls. And lo and behold, I get in this group home and I found out that I had a brother out there that I never knew of. And I met my brother Jason because of me going through that process. And like it was so crazy. Like I was like in the room by myself crying. And then the girl, like, she came in the room and she's like, baby, don't cry. We see girls come in and out of here all the time like this. And then like she asked me my name, and I told her my name, and she's like, we cousins. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. And then she ran down my mom's side of the family names, and somehow they got word to my mother that I was in a group home, and I was running away from the group home, girl. Like I was running away, and then my mother's sister ended up getting custody of me. Yes, like that was
So
crazy.
you just said a really horrible thing that happened to you, but you also said a positive thing.
Right?
Yeah.
You found out a lot more positives with you going into that place than being dropped off with them two people, them a-holes that didn't even show you any love.
That's
Like,
horrible. I could never do Abby like
but
that.
look at that. Them two individuals that did that to you gave you more than you could have ever asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You got
They
way more
did.
out of that.
Yeah, those girls saved my life because they just didn't know. Like when that night, like I felt like my world was over and I was ready to end it all. But when they came into that room and they hugged me and they gave me love, like let me tell you something. Walking into that group home, people be shocked. I never knew what weave was. Okay, I'm talking about hair weave. I never knew what a relaxer was. I was so oblivious to things. Like I went into this whole different world, and that's why I'm so versatile now. Because if I didn't go through it, and it hurt me to go through that, but if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be the me I am today.
Yep.
And I knew that that situation did not break me, and so I I'm here. I'm on top, and I tell my children this story all the time, and I always tell my kids like, no matter if you feel like I'm judgy, they think I'm judgy, just know that I love you, and these are things that I would never do to you. I am hard on you, and I will be strict on you, and I'm gonna always try to hold your hand because I never want you guys to walk this earth and feel alone. You know, I can't fix everything all the time. I will let them fall and learn their lessons sometimes, but they're truly not alone, you know,
Yeah.
because they have to experience this life. Now that they're grown, they have to experience this life and learn the lessons from it. But mom's still here for now, you know. Go ahead, B.
Yeah.
So if you want to take this as like a thing for you, moving forward, transitioning,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship of the parent and child, it changes that day they turn 18. Now, if they still live in your home, it's kind of hard to do that transition, and it's definitely something to think about as far as them being a child, but to have that conversation with them, like, look, our dynamic's going to change. It's not going to be mother daughter, mother son, parent child. It's going to be adult to an adult. Whereas like you're now like a roommate if you're going to stay in this household. So there's going to be some things that are expected of you.
Right.
And if you aren't willing to, provide those expectations or meet them, there's that door, there's the military. And this is I know a guy who served the military, and he's now, handling his stuff. He's in school and all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you go, it's Brandon. And then you could tell them, hey, if you don't like how things are ran here, you're really not going to like the military, but you get more out of it. If they want to do something on their own, it's like, okay, find a job, and then find some way of putting
Right.
yourself through school.
It's
And-
I'm sorry. I promise I
never
didn't
stop
mean to
from
make you cry.
you never
I'm
stop
sorry.
from
No,
when
it's
they're
okay.
baby.
I'm right.
yeah, it's somehow it's real hard to let go, but it's also
No.
easy to
I
just
mean,
become a mentor. You go like, hey, kids, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I've walked this path. Come ask me some questions. You
Right.
got to be able to break that wall, because sometimes kids are embarrassed to ask.
That's
Mhm.
true.
They really
Mhm.
are, and they won't want to have to put themselves out there because they're gonna feel like they look silly, because
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be like laughing or something. Try to hold in those feelings of like, you loser. You
Or they don't want to "I told you so" moment.
those two. So
Mhm.
those are I told you so's. Just all you gotta say is, hey, no judgment here. I'm not gonna come
Right.
at y'all, but this is something that you guys can really benefit from if you want to.
Yeah.
Go.
You have Austin wanting to join the military too, because that's what he's been looking into. Now I have two sons wanting to go into the military.
You know what? They're gonna get so much out of it, especially
Yeah.
Austin. Austin's
I
definitely awesome.
I am thankful for you though, because I was trying to tell that boy about the military, and he's like, "Mom, nobody want to go to the military." And all day, like watching you and how you handle yourself and seeing all your certifications, and he's like he has mad respect for you, B. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm feeling this.
I do.
So yes,
I gotta go back down there because it's warm over there now, so I gotta go in the pool.
yeah. It's the weather has been sucking the last couple of days.
Oh man, it was hot over here. We had 90 like 3 days ago. It was stupid hot.
Wow. Yeah, the weather. It's been raining. It's been.
Yeah, it's been raining here too.
Yeah.
It's supposed to rain all week. Supposed to.
Yeah, because Georgia and North Carolina pretty much always
Pretty close.
Mhm.
We had cloudy today and it was cold, but I mean that was changed from 3 days
It was
ago.
nice though. It was a nice day.
It was like low humidity. What's
So
the next
you guys-
hard-hitting question, y'all?
Yeah, because I don't want to
so-
cry no more. Because I just.
Yeah, I don't want to cry no more.
I had to light my cigarette
No
because I
more
just
drama.
stressed my
No
life
more
out.
Emmett. Listen, Mary J.
That just stressed my life out.
Okay, so the next question is going to be: how do you know if you are fully prepared, or you have fully prepared your child or your children for this journey called life? So Go ahead, Jazz.
So,
Yeah, let's talk about Ivy.
with that, girl, I ain't Brandon. I haven't even started to prepare Ivy for life yet. But
She's
I
one.
mean, I know, I still have time. But I mean, honestly, I mean, for me, I would, of course, make sure that everything like she's responsible, like if she's still in school, studies, all of that is up to par. And once
Right.
I see that, then I know like, okay, she's prepared, she's ready, she can go out into, the world. But I mean, she also has to be like mature at that age and everything. Because if she's 18 and still childish, it's not gonna go hand in hand, So
Yeah.
yeah,
But from where you are to where we are,
right.
it's never going to
long
change,
time,
because the reality is, from when they start, walking, we
Mm.
got to let them walk. We got to let them go forward. And
Yeah.
we're
Let
just
them
there to
fall
make
while they
sure
shine.
we let them fall, but we're there to pick them up.
Yeah.
You actually got to let them learn to pick themselves, but you don't stop. It never stops.
Right.
As
Mom
long
for
as
life.
you're living, and probably after that, you watch them.
Yeah.
Right.
You're there for them. So
Yeah.
you just have to, now your role changes where you're not as active in it. You got to let them make the decisions.
Right.
And now, like for me, where I'm watching them with theirs, and as much as I want to guide them and be there for them and tell them, I can give them little things, but the reality is that's their little ones. Now my
Yeah.
role in the little ones' lives is
Spoil
different.
them.
Spoil them
I'm,
and-
Right.
I'm grandma. I'm not mom.
You
But I think
said
it's
it.
more like I
Oh,
want to
shit,
be.
she said it.
I can't really
Mama.
say.
A mama. Okay.
I want
No,
to be
you
more.
It's
I guess it's like be involved, but still like to let her do
Yeah.
stuff on her own. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You
Like
let her
I
explore,
wish
you let
that.
her learn, you let her grow, and then you
Exactly.
keep doing it their whole life. You let them explore, you let them learn, you let them grow.
Try
Right.
me. I've always said to myself is I always want to be the mom for her that my mom wasn't. So it's like
Right.
I'm trying to do bigger and better, trying. So
yeah.
Right. Right.
Another like on that, Jazz, careful, because you can make mistakes where they depend on you too
Too
much.
much. I'm going through that right now.
Careful,
Yeah.
okay? You gotta learn to like loosen up that leash. Can't
And
be
that's
so.
what I think, that's the same thing for every parent. We want to provide something that
yeah.
like I'm sure my
What we were
mom did
missing.
for us what
Yeah.
her mom didn't do for her, and
But
I
I
did
think
for
it's more in
mine.
my case because I know I had the two kids that passed away before her.
Right.
So it's like I'm always instantly going to be more
Yeah.
stuck to her than
Right.
anything. But I mean,
Right.
still taking into account of what you said too, because I mean, eventually, eventually she's going to go to school, and it's like I
Yeah.
can't sit in school with her all day. I have to,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I gotta
Jazz
let her
is gonna
go.
be the one crying.
I am.
Yes.
I
Yes.
went to New Orleans.
You'll learn when to let go and when to hold on, and
Yeah.
I mean, you have time.
I have
You
hella
have
time.
time.
Yeah,
I mean,
And
yeah.
you're gonna, and just like them, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna do things as a parent, because
Right.
there's not a book, not
It's
a,
a journey
they're
for
all
us.
different, none
Right.
of them, but we all learn because
Right.
your child, my child, children, they're all different. They're individuals. They don't
Right.
come with their own book. They're
Right.
gonna grow. We
Yes.
learn as they learn.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You
Right.
And
so you're gonna mess up some things. You're gonna get some things great. And that's just
Yeah.
how it's gonna be.
Right. So I often tell parents, we're learning. Well, I often tell my kids too. I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I also got in the habit of when I'm wrong, I apologize to them.
Oh, yeah.
And that way I'll teach them accountability.
Yeah.
And also, I think where I probably dropped the ball was trying to be the parent to compensate for every single thing I didn't have.
Yes.
And I didn't
Yeah, and
realize.
that's what I had said I wanted to. I like everything that I didn't get from my parents. Like if I would say she wanted, I'm gonna buy it. But then it's like in my head, I'm like, I don't want it to be where she thinks that everything is gonna fucking be handed to her, because that is not how life goes. So
Right.
That's crippling.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that lesson because it's like now is expected. So it's like example, my children, I don't charge them rent. I don't really charge them gas or anything. So I got in the habit because my kids they'll run me ragged some days because I'm taking them to point A to point B. Back in the day, it was the bus for us. Let's get on the bus. And my children,
Bike.
my kids don't know.
walk something.
Yeah, My kids don't know how to use the bus. They don't know how to use the train or nothing.
Oh wow.
All they know how to do is call an Uber and a Lyft. And I said, dang, that's hindering them. Because like me and B had this conversation. And he's like, yo, listen, you're going to have to put your foot down and set up some things because you're hindering your children. And I was like, yeah. So I told my kids, I was like, okay, I'm going to need $20 a pay every time you guys get paid for gas. If I'm going to take you guys everywhere, because that's teaching them a little bit of responsibility.
And plus gas is like $10 a damn
It
gallon.
is,
So
it
it's like
It's a mortgage.
$20
Right.
ain't even enough. But you know, starting out. So
right. And then it's like $2 a month. We're charging $2 a month for the password to HBO. So
Nice.
you know, and they pay their own phone bills because I told them I'm not paying phone bills. They pay their
I
own
don't
phone
blame
bills.
you on that.
And so that's me trying to teach them responsibility. But the way I did prepare them for life was through lectures. I always tell them about credit. I always tell them, right now, my daughter, she has a 2017 car sitting in the driveway. I told her, right now, you're not driving the car until you show me some responsibility because, you know, we're working on that area. But I don't want her to go into a car dealership and get into some horrible deal because the car looks good on the outside, pop the engine and it looks
And
crusty.
you remember in car dealerships when females come in there by themselves, they will definitely try to work your ass.
Right.
Definitely.
Or
Especially
children,
if they think you don't know
young
no
faces,
Right.
baby faces.
They
Right.
go after.
They see them come in,
They go after.
especially with the no credit score having.
Yep. And that's why I'm always glad that my dad always taught me, like when it came to about cars, like popping hood and doing all that. So like if you think you're about to get over on me, haha, you not, because it's like
Yeah, I talked to them about the interest rate. I talked to them about credit card usage. Let them know. Usually they say keep it at 30%. I always tell my kids keep your usage at 20%, below 20%.
I mean zero, well, not really zero, because
not zero, because you want just a
You
small
gotta
credit
have
number.
something.
Yeah,
You
you want
gotta show.
a small
Have to have
credit.
You gotta
something.
show that you could borrow.
it's like I try to keep mine
Mhm.
at like 10-20%,
Right.
mainly more closer to the 10. You know, like anytime I use it, I instantly just pay it off. So it's like, you know, y'all see the good payment history and
Right,
you know all the other
right.
stuff.
Yeah, and just try to teach them how to be decent human beings. You know, we're not going to always get it right because this parenting thing, it is a journey. And like you said, there's really no handbook on it. You have one parent giving advice, but that's for their child. Their child's personality is different than my children, and so forth and so forth. So really, I just really do think that parents might want to try to start preparing for their children to become adults. And I would say at the age of 16, I know people think 15 actually, because 16, when they hit 16, they're like, I'm halfway there. I'm almost there. So
Ooh.
15, like start preparing yourself to move back a little bit and give that child a little bit more leeway and to start making mistakes and to start learning life lessons. So at 15, I would actually, now that I'm looking back at it, I would start charging children at 15 for little small things like, okay, you want the Wi-Fi? Okay, that's $5 a month for the Wi-Fi. You know, just to teach them that they're going to have bills. They want to be consistent with their bills because you don't want them to grow up and just always be wasting money. Because right now, my kids seem to think money grows on trees.
Yeah, you show them that.
Only one of
Be
my
out in the backyard
let
shaking.
me correct that. Only
You showed
one
them
of
that.
my children. Only one of my children. I don't show them that. But listen, but I have to tell them this though. Like because I go out, I shop like a lot and I spend a lot. But I tell people I am the coupon queen. I'm the budget queen. Like it may look like, but I made sure that these bills are paid. Like I told Brandon, like I'll make sure all my bills are paid up so that I can splurge a little bit and do the things that I want to do. So when next month come, I'm not behind or anything, and I'm not worried about disconnection or anything like that. And I also taught my children about investment. So all my children have bank accounts. They have their savings accounts. They have their checking account. And I tell my sons and my daughters, like I think it's state employees credit union, they have like a CD account. You put $250 in there and you'll let that money sit in there for 60 months. I tell my son, like every other month, give me $250. Let's go to the bank and let's set this up. Let that money grow for you because all you're going to do is waste that money on fast food. fast food in your belly. It's not gonna benefit you. It's gonna
And trust
benefit
me, if
you
he go to a
a
credit
little bit.
union and do that, he gonna get like a really, really good rate.
Right. And then I told him, like, the reason why I got them set up at the credit union and study my other bank is so that they'll have this relationship with the bank, the credit union. And by the time my son reaches a certain age, his credit is where it needs to be. And I tell my kids, you can go through programs like NACA and buy your first house, have that house paid off at 30. Now that's an investment property.
Mhm.
And then take you and buy you another home. These are things I wasn't taught as a youngin', but now that I'm older, I know these things. So these are the lessons that I'm giving to my children.
Yep.
I'm
Or
not
you could
sure.
be like me, like my grandma did all of that. Everything that like I didn't like when it comes to like say like learning the credit and opening bank accounts, everything has been through my grandma, and I am beyond thankful for that. My fuck up was that it was that she was telling me this, and I'm like, all right, grandma, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you, and I'm halfway listening, and then now being almost 34 years old, the shit done bit me in the ass because it's like I should have listened, because I could have been doing everything that my grandma said, but it was just like when I was at that age, it's like I heard you, but I didn't hear you.
Hear you. Right.
Yeah. And then now I'm like, damn, I really
But
should
it's never too late though.
That's
So
true.
you start bringing you some money in some investment accounts. Go to, like I said, the government bonds. Government
Yeah.
bonds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Whoa,
investing in right
whoa.
Oh Lord.
Oh. I can say this right now. We can say this offline, but I wouldn't trust the government right now.
Here you go.
now. Well, it's the safest place right now for our money because the stock
Sure
market.
is.
It is. The
Surely
stock
is.
market, I've been to a couple of financial advisors, and that's where they told me to kind of invest my money
And
because
even with my job,
it's less of a risk.
right.
Less of a risk.
Right. And even with my job, seeing if I work for a credit union, they are saying the exact every email that we get when they say it's like anything in regards to anybody who invested money. Yeah.
Yeah.
My lawyer told me that last week. My lawyer actually told me that last week.
You should look at your producer and go take a look at him because he's thinking he's about to roll that thing.
Sheesh. Excuse us, admin.
You have to do a whole financial stream.
God dang.
Yeah.
Just on finances.
Yes, sir, admin.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, even with her saying that, so like teaching the kids that you're teaching them that and they're learning and growing. And I know you're scared of them kind of going off on their own, but you're preparing them well enough.
Yeah.
But see, that should be something
you just have to loosen the hand and kind of let them walk a little.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to pry the fingers open.
And when it comes to financial stuff, I feel like that's something that they should teach in schools because that's shit that they don't teach.
That would actually help children. So why would they?
True.
Okay.
True. You got a point there. You got
Sorry.
All right. We got one final question before we finish. Okay, so
what's the final question, Mr. Admin? Let me shut up. I'm sorry.
We're gonna have freaking.
He's gonna kick me off the stream. I'm
He's
sorry.
Right. I was the girl. He gonna remove me.
I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke.
Okay, so the next question is: if your child sways from the path you taught them, is that on you as a parent? I'm sorry.
Wait, if your child sways,
from the path that you taught them,
is that on you as a parent?
No, because I mean you've taught them and you taught them all that you can teach them. It's on them to want to take that and apply it, like going forward. If they do, great. If they don't, you can't be mad at yourself because you did your part.
Yeah. You have to look at them as the adult they are. Like if you saw someone on the street and they did something dumb, you're gonna be like, "Oh, your parents." Or you're gonna be like, "Well, you just did something dumb."
Right.
You're gonna look at them as the individual that they are. I mean, and you have to realize that you can only teach them but so much. The rest of it they have to do on their own.
Well,
you can guide them, but they're gonna do it on their own.
Right. But I mean, some parents will feel bad though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. No, I'm saying like some parents will feel bad though, like if their child sways off of that path that they
can feel bad, and you always will. It's gonna hurt your heart in certain ways. It's always gonna hurt your heart.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it was your fault. It doesn't mean that you did it, and you're always gonna wish that you did something different, or what could you have done differently, or different things here and there. You're always going to think those things. That doesn't change. It doesn't make you good, it doesn't make you bad, it makes you human. You're going to think those things. But you have to let them at a certain time be themselves and just go, I did my best.
Tish.
I did my best. Now you have to do it the same way. Like, I messed up. I did a lot of things bad. I don't look at my mom and be like, well, it was my mom's fault. My mom did it.
Right.
My dad's fault. My dad did it.
Because it's not like your mom put a gun in your head and
at a
say,
certain
hey, you
point,
better
I'm
go
like,
do this
I
shit.
made those decisions. I did. My parents taught me right from wrong. And the things that I did because I wanted to do them. Not because my parents
It's
were
like you knew better,
bad.
but you like, let me just get a rouse out of somebody and do this
Right.
shit.
That's why, I could never blame my mom, even though my situation for what it was, like, I would never place blame on my mom. I would never place blame on my aunts and them. It's just like this. Listen, life freaking happens, and you take it and you do the best that you can with it. You don't sit and dwell on the shortcomings of your parents, because I feel like you would never grow. Because when you're always just pointing a finger, when are you going to take accountability for you? Because at some point you made a poor decision, whether they were the best parents or whether they weren't the best parents. I always try to teach my children accountability, because, like I tell them all the time, I'm flawed. I'm going to make mistakes. But if I make a mistake, you cannot say this one mistake detoured your whole life, because that's not the case. You don't have to be a product of your parents' shortcomings. You just don't.
But it's like, I mean, you said with that accountability, that's my grandma always said, it's like you have to be accountable for you, because at the end of the day, only you is accountable for whatever the hell it was that you did, and it's like that's always stuck with me, because it's like I can't go blaming the world for this that happened and this that happened and this that happened and blaming these family members and these friends and all that, because at the end of the day, the accountability is me. So
I'm sorry, Jazz, but I had to do it. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Damn straight.
So with that question there, who came up with that question? Was that you?
I did. That was me. No, I'm just playing. It really wasn't me. Let me shut up.
I wrote out. Y'all know. Come on, y'all know me.
You wrote the question. You didn't brainstorm it with anyone else. You just
no.
It was just you. Okay, so this is why I was asking if it was the producer or if it was anybody else that gave you the idea.
Producer was at work.
Okay, so the thing. Okay, so bounce it off of you. Mm-hmm. Now, is this for when they're an adult, or is this for when they're also a child? Because there's a 2-part answer to that. I say no if we're talking about grown-ups, but I gotta say yes if we're talking about kids. Because if your kid is acting out, let's say in school, or let's say they're acting out in public, they're doing something that they know they're not supposed to be doing, but they do it. It does reflect negatively on you as a parent, because you cannot control your child.
I thought we were talking about adults.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a 2-parter.
That's
why I'm sitting here. Why y'all guys is like,
I get what you're saying, and it says child because it doesn't matter their age; they're your child. But she's addressing what to do with them as they grow into adulthood, not children.
No, it says is that on you. It doesn't say if you're child as an adult.
Well, my god.
Well, my children.
Hit him, Vanessa. Just
40 years old. 40 years old. You're gonna be my child. I'm like, I be telling people like, I'm a certain age, and my mom, like, I still call my mom, mommy. I be like, hey, mommy. Like, that's just how I am. And so I'm still her child, no matter what age.
Exactly.
I didn't say like any of that. I was just asking.
I mean, but that's a good question though.
Because let's change this up right now.
But that would change the whole concept of what we came on here.
You gotta stay on track before admin get on our ass.
Because that person's gonna.
I'm sorry.
Hold up, no, producer. I'm asking a legit question here. Let's go ahead and switch this up, and let's say we say no for the adult, but we say yes to.
That's a given.
No, it's not just a given. Hold up.
It's definitely a given.
I'm gonna explain why. It's like if you do something out of turn and your parent, is looking at you have others, you're in public and they're embarrassing you. It's like, hey, what are you doing wrong? Then it could be like, okay, maybe they have an autism. They're on the spectrum. Maybe they have some ADHD issues. It might be some type of medical problem, right? but
Mhm.
you would know if that child has those issues because one, you'll see them with headphones, and you know they're screaming, they have something over their ears because they got sensory. You
Yeah.
can see
Some,
that.
well,
If they
some,
run around, they got a helmet on,
Yeah.
or
some,
they got a
some.
leash on. You know, they got a leash just because you know those kids are gonna run away. Oh
Wait a
yeah,
minute. I'm
No,
about to buy
no,
Ivy
no,
a leash.
no,
So
no,
what you
no
trying to
leashes.
say?
No,
People,
that
people
dang on
question,
leashes.
people question other people without knowing their
I'm
situation.
definitely buying
Yep.
Ivy a leash.
They're like my son, he's special needs. He's 14 now, but when he was little, he was a runner. So when we would go to like the airport, I would take him every
Oh
year to Florida.
Lord. Oh no.
I never
He
had
just
him on a
keeps
leash.
running.
I never had him on a leash, but he definitely was a runner. But I always had him in a stroller
Mhm.
because I refuse to be that parent chasing my kid. I'm like, no. So if I see somebody with a kid on a leash and a dog in a stroller, I'm not going to question what their reasoning is. The dog's probably old and that baby's probably a runner.
I would have a
But
kid on a leash just to be like, boom.
So if y'all
No,
ever see me
see,
in
that's
public
been
with
my
a leash on
that's
so
Ivy,
like if I
that's
ever
been
see
my
you with a
my
baby on a leash,
problem.
I'm gonna go, oh, that baby's a runner, and that's it. You don't want to lose your baby. That's not bad parenting.
no, the
No,
bad
it's
thing
not
about
bad
it is that if
parenting.
Ivy
I
start running,
think
she's just
down.
gonna be running because I'm not chasing her. I'm not doing
Listen,
it.
I think down here I've seen too often parents being more gentle with the dog on the leash, and then the kid like what I'm
Get
seeing
Get your
is,
ass over here.
and the kid.
back.
That's because the dog ain't trying to run.
Exactly.
For me, I guess for me, I'm not gonna judge them. For me, the leash isn't a thing. I thought about it though because my son is a runner too. But then I said, you know what? He doesn't listen to you because you have a soft voice. So I started, get your butt back here, boy. Like I get stern, and so
Yeah, I
that
do that with
Like
Ivy and it
my
don't
son,
work
I
either.
could
So
call his
she's
name, I could
definitely getting
scream
a
his
leash.
name. I would.
yeah.
It doesn't matter
But
what.
yeah, because he has
will
autism, so it's a little different.
So it's like if I see somebody, with their kid and I see that their kid is, I'm not going to assume that kid is just misbehaving or being bad.
Yeah, no,
I'm not going to assume it. And a lot of people do. And they're like, oh, that's bad parenting. Like my son would throw a fit in the middle of the store and throw himself on the ground. He would cry for 4 hours.
Not
Hours.
4 hours.
Straight without
Ooh.
stopping.
That,
So much
I
so that
get
his face would turn purple.
I understand
Okay.
that.
God
I had
damn.
to tell.
And
Oh,
it's
go ahead.
not a fun time. Like
It's
it
not.
takes a lot of patience, but people look at you like, oh, you're such a bad parent. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you don't know the situation that I'm going through.
They can
You
only
have no
see this
idea.
on the outside, not what's
Yeah.
actually happening
So
when you
If
go in the
I
house
see
and close the
somebody
door.
with their kid, I'm understanding.
Me
I
too.
look
Yep.
at them
Yeah.
and I'm there for you as a parent. I'm like, you know what? I get when you're having a hard time.
I
So
get
as
it.
parents, instead of judging and looking at a parent as a bad parent,
Be
how
understanding.
about look at them as a human being that might need a little bit of assistance or understanding?
Just a little bit.
So
Vanessa, yes.
See,
And
this is why we like having you on, girl.
yes, yes. And Vanessa, to speak to the fact that you just said, I had an experience like that too. I was in Kohl's, me and the producer. We were in Kohl's, and for those who don't know, my 5-year-old has autism also. And he was kind of having a meltdown because he wanted something that was someone else's. And I said, no. So we're going to take him to the front of the store and get him his own drink. And he's like having a fit. And like when he has a fit, he is so strong. It's so hard to kind of handle him by myself.
Yeah.
So I was trying to pick him up. And this lady walks by. You guys already know. She
Karen.
walks by and she's like, oh, he's bad. And I turned. And I said, he is not bad. He has autism. There ain't nothing wrong with him. Then she's just, when she realized that I said he has autism and other people looking at her like, ooh, bitch.
Trifling,
mind
bitch.
your business.
Yes. And then she says, oh, no. I said somebody needs a nap.
That's not what you said.
That's
I
not
should
what
smack the
you
taste
said.
out your motherfucking
And I
mouth. But you know what?
I had to check myself because it's just like you said, people don't know what people be going through with their kids.
Right.
And sometimes people get in that space that they want to judge and you don't know what's going on. And I had to check myself. I said, girl, don't go to jail. Don't drag her. Don't drag her.
I'm so proud of you because I would have dragged her from end to motherfucking end.
Listen, producer.
Now who bad?
Close to like, go ahead and get her. And I was
Word?
like, yes.
Oh, that's not the right way to do that.
And
Jerry.
you know what? Eric put it
Brandon,
in.
the man that was with
once
her,
when you're dealing with
Hold
a
on,
kid
hold on, hold on,
screaming,
hold on.
the
Good.
man, the man that was with her looked at her some type of way because of how she was. When it comes to Carter, producer don't play. He
Period.
loses marbles over that one. He
Period.
doesn't
As you
play.
should.
The other ones, they pretty much know how to handle themselves. But that one, where so it's like don't play with that one because R.I.P. R.I.P. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Remember my thought anymore.
Yeah, you can't say it.
But
she was in the middle of a
no,
story.
I know, and my
it's okay. No, it's fine. Y'all.
No, so like I get the feeling, and yeah, you get rural protective, and you're a mama bear, you're gonna protect the baby, and that's and they don't know the situations, and I've had those moments, so I know, and like the little rage in me just kind of goes off because you talking and you don't know.
So
like they don't know the sleepless nights, they don't know the constant repeating, they don't know them, the not understanding when you're saying little things to them, or if your face looks a certain way they think you're upset, and they don't understand these things. And I see, like I'm to the point where now, because I've gone through this, I can understand it in a certain way. And like where I work, we'll get parents that'll have their kids come in and the kids are upset, and I see the parents struggling with them, and I don't give them a hard time. I'll go over, I'll talk to the kid. And if I see that the kid is kind of hiding behind the parent, I'll just look at them and I'm like, yep, good job. You don't know me.
Right.
You should be hiding from me. And I don't like, like you're so shy. No, none of that. I'm like, nope, good job. You don't know me. You don't know who I am. You should be hiding from me. You're doing good.
Right.
And I don't sit there and I don't say look at the parent like, why are they so shy? Oh, no, because I don't know their situation. But I'm going to look at that kid and go, yep, you don't know me. You shouldn't be talking to me.
Yes, that's where I am too now, especially I think me and B seen that when we were out a young kid. He had his headphones on and the mom was struggling to calm him down. And I just looked and I said, okay, he's I think B said sensory problems. I said, yeah, he's having some. He was overwhelmed. And someone else not being aware of autism or any other type of disability that affects children, they would have been judgy. They would have looked at that baby and been like, oh, he's just bad. Keep your judgment and your comments to yourself. If like Vanessa said, if you're not going to offer up any help or any support, keep it moving.
Yeah. Y'all guys was all talking about like medical conditions, and like that's not where I was going.
Oh, okay.
There were kids that know what not to do. No, like they had average children, just completely no issues. They're all problems and troublemakers because they're just that. They think it's cool to be bad, right? Those are the ones that reflect negatively on the parent because the parent has to then take control and be like, well, now there's going to be consequences for your actions because you're not getting it this way. So we're going to go ahead and do things differently. So then you play with the things they like, you take the things they like away.
Right.
And then they'll start changing their tune because they're like, whoa, hang on. So you're taking away what I like now, not just, putting me in a punishment. And I still got all the things I like to do. Put me in my room. Right. Everything I like is there. No, I'm going to put you in another room that has books. You're going to read. You don't like to read. That's all you're going to have. I'm gonna have a window.
See my kids. They enjoy books. My kids are.
Oh yeah, that's one
I
thing.
love that about my kids, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Put a window, but you put a painted window and be like, it's not even sunny outside. You don't know what it is out there. You don't know what it is out there.
Painting the windows, lightweight child abuse now.
Put them in a room. You put them in a circular room and tell them they can't leave until they find a corner.
Lord,
you just those kind of things. But we're gonna wind it down now, y'all.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this segment up. It has been a powerful show, and that is one of the reasons why I came up with the name the Lauren Hour, because the Lauren means powerful, so it means power. And we had a power hour, and I totally love it. And to all the parents out there, matter of fact, Crystal states I want to shout her out. Crystal states, we appreciate you over here at the Lauren Hour for being a fan and commenting. Thank you for all of our fans for commenting. If you ever need any advice about your little one or just parenting, feel free to inbox me. She inboxed me some. She inboxed it me some kind words and gave me a little bit information about her. If you ever need any advice and I can help, I would definitely reach back out to you. We appreciate you over here at the Lauren Hour podcast. To all the parents, hold your heads up. You guys are doing an amazing job. Even when it seems like we're not doing everything that we feel like we should be doing because we're so hard on ourselves. Just know that if you get up every day and your goal is to figure out how to make your children's life better, then you are on the right path. And just know we are all in this together. So please, no judgment zone. Let's keep on loving on these babies, supporting these kids. And by all means, if you need a momcation or a dadcation, take that. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful evening. Bye.